Mary here, and welcome to a new edition of Books and Cookies Book Talk. I was tagged by the wonderful Tilly from Tilly and Her Books to do the 25 bookish things about me tag. And I'm so happy. Thank you so much for tagging me. Without further ado, here are 25 random bookish things about me. I was around 7 or 8 years old when I first set foot in a library, and I have my sister to thank for that because she was the one that took me there. When I was a kid, I used to collect these tiny picture books that were based on very famous fairy tales, and my favorite one was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I actually knew that one by heart. Like everything that was written there, I knew by heart. My mom told me years later that when I was in the hospital for my first eye surgery, I was 5 years old. I actually had both my eyes covered, so I could not see a thing, but she came into the ward and she saw me reading to the other kids there who were just gathered around me, and I was just reading to them Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And I think that was just awesome. The first book that I remember reading from start to finish was Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tales, and my favorite one was The Snow Queen. I used to read a lot in high school. I read a lot. The librarian knew my name and she kept recommending me books. I stopped abruptly when I got into college because I had so many specialty books that I had to read. I just could not find myself in the mood to read more. In May of 2014, when I started my book blog, I owned about 30 books in my very, very small library, and right now that number is really close to 200. I tend to only buy the first book in a series because I'm worried that I won't like it, and I don't want to actually pay the money and risk not liking the series. Usually that does not happen, and I just sit in a corner and cry and just regret all my life choices up until that moment that prevented me from buying the whole series. My proudest bookish achievement was reading the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy in about 6 days when I was 13. And the second that I finished, I went back and reread it again. 1984 by George Orwell is my favorite classic. I do not like science fiction books at all. I just do not find the appeal in them. I find them boring to an extent. Only sci-fi books that I managed to get through and really love were Ernest Cline's book, Ready Player One and Armada. At the moment I read exclusively in English and I love it. I own a lot of bookmarks, whether they're from the book depository or gifts from friends. I own a lot of them, and I tend to color coordinate my bookmark with the cover of the book that I'm currently reading. I try to read at least a little bit every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. I usually get more reading done during the week than on weekends because I always read during my commute to and from work. My favorite genres are fantasy, YA and adult, and YA contemporary. I like listening to music while I read, preferably instrumental music, not classical, but the ones that, trailer music, epic music. I still have not found a book character that I can relate to completely. Closest that I've come to is Hermione Granger, but yeah. I love rereading books. I love it. I think that we should all be rereading books a lot more and stop pressuring ourselves to actually finish our to-be-read pile, because that's never gonna happen. So you might as well just go back and enjoy books that you've read and loved. I actually enjoy writing reviews. I write reviews on my book blog, even though I suck at writing. What I hate doing is book reviews on video, which is why I actually stopped doing them, because there are people out there who do it way better than me, so why put pressure on myself to try and do that, because it never ends up looking well. I have never met any of my favorite authors, nor do I think that's actually going to happen, because the only way for that to even be remotely possible would be for them to come here in Romania, which probably won't happen. I have to stop at the end of a chapter if I have to stop reading, otherwise it will bug me. I hardly ever snack while I'm reading because I always get worried that I'll get stains on my books. Oddly enough, I have no problems with drinking while I'm reading, even though the risk of spilling something on my book, knowing myself, is way, way bigger. I do not like breaking the spines from books. I don't like dog-earing my pages. I don't like writing on books or doing absolutely anything to them that would leave them in a less than perfect condition. I don't like the look of a well-worn book. I like them shiny. I never lend my books to anyone. I just don't trust anyone that much in order to lend them my books, because they're my babies and my babies need to be protected at all costs. I would love to actually work in a field that's related to book reviewing and related to books in general, so maybe publishing. But I worry that that ship has sailed already and it will probably never happen. I have never read Pride and Prejudice. My most read book is probably Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which is oddly enough my least liked book in the Harry Potter series. There you have it, 25 bookish things about me. I would like to tag some people to do this, and these are Ellison from Reader on the Rosie, Megan from Megan Gordon, Ashley from Sparky Loves Books, and Audrey from Pocahontas Little Book Nook. Hopefully you guys will have fun with this. Thank you again, Tilly, so much for tagging me. Thank you guys for watching this, and I will see you next time with a new video. Remember, books for the soul, cookies for the tongue. Bye everyone!